The sensibility of both Bruce's movies are quintessentially British, and I don't think they could be any other nationality whatsoever.
We've gone on holiday by mistake. We're in this cottage here. Are you the farmer?
Stop saying that, Withnail! Of course he's the fucking farmer!
They're rain-sodden and full of cynicism and a kind of gallows humour.
How can we make it die? You've got to throttle him. Listen, I think you should strangle him instantly in case it starts trying to make friends with us. All right.
Comedy of situation is where the humour is. But the moment you're aware that you're funny, like some comedians are aware that they're funny and then get away with it, then it dies for me. I can't stand that sort of comedy.
I feel like a pig shut in my head.
Some of the best comedy I've ever seen on cinema was in the Gold Rush. Chaplin cooks his boots and separates them, and he gives the other guy the sole of the boot. But had he done that, saying, oh, look at me being funny, it wouldn't be funny at all. It's funny because it's real. He's made it real. I've got to eat this boot because I'm starving to death.
Bruce is hilarious. He's the funniest person, I think, I know.
I have a heart condition. If you hit me, it's murder.
I'll murder the Perius!
My wife is having a baby.
His real concern was always the dialogue. You rehearsed it at home and you know, try and imagine what it's going to be, and then you do it in front of a crew. You're so hyper aware of what the reaction is going to be to something if you're doing it for the first time, that if somebody laughs, which Bruce was like a Nazi about, he said, you know, if somebody in the crew laughs, then it's never going to be funny in the movie.
What are you doing? I'm going for a slash. No, you're not. You can't. I can't get my boots on when they're hot. I'll go alone. No, you won't. You're not leaving me in here alone. Those are the kind of windows faces looking at.
Comedy is extremely difficult. You know, if you've got a guy with a 40 caliber Glock pistol and he pulls it out and blows somebody away, we can all do that, you know. But to actually deliver complex dialogue isn't that easy.
If I hear more words out of you, I'll put one of these here black pods on you.
Don't threaten me with a dead fish.
The actors that I really adore are the ones that are the best at delivering the dialogue, like Humphrey Bogart. I mean, a magic way of speaking as a film star. Fantastic. Jack Lemmon, magic. They can handle huge chunks of dialogue and make it their own, you know. And you believe them.
Then why is he wearing that old suit?
Old suit. This suit was cut by Hawks of Savile Row. Just because the best tailoring you've ever seen is above your fucking appendix doesn't mean anything.
Don't get uptight with me, man.
And the thing that you can tap into with Richard is the fact of his superiority. You know, he is fucking flying. He's high altitude guy, you know, and who's that? Oh. You know, and he does that very, very well.
If you don't leave, we'll call the police.
Balls. We want the finest wines available to humanity. We want them here, and we want them now.
He is a very good actor. With the right dialogue and the right role, he can be really magic, I think.
I'm a trained actor reduced to the status of a bum. I mean, look at us.
I was obsessed with the theatre. I'd read everything about it. I'd read every play, all of Shakespeare, and I'd done as many plays as possible as an amateur actor where I was growing up in Swaziland. So London was the epicenter of the theatre world, and for me, still is.
You don't like me being on stage?
Then they must be delighted with your career.
And I think because Paul and I were both trained and worked in the theatre beforehand, you're completely used to the playwright is God in the theatre, and you don't, unless it's an improvised piece, you do everything to the letter and full stop. So that didn't feel like a big change when you do a movie.
What a piece of work is a man.
Whereas I think I've worked with many American actors who haven't had that theatre training background, and learning the lines and sometimes being very specific about the dialogue is much more freewheeling and open-ended, that you don't, that thing of having to stick to it is not the same discipline. That's not a criticism, it's just an observation of a different way of working.
They pick up signals from the cosmos and transmit them directly into the brain. This is the reason bald-headed men are uptight.
What absolute twaddle.
I call him Fatty, by the way. I always have called him Fatty because when the great Mary Selway, who was the casting director, showed me a photo of Richard for the first time, I said, Christ almighty, you know, like a porky little Dirk Bogarde he looked like, you know. And I said, I want a ghost, I want an absolute, you know, phantom-like figure, Byron-esque and stuff. I don't want to see him. But she was a very clever casting director. She brought him in anyway, and ultimately he got the part.
This pill's valued at £2.
£2? You're out of your mind.
That's sense, Withnail.
You can stuff it up your arse for nothing and fuck off while you're doing it.
The thing about Richard is Richard is very intelligent, which isn't necessarily a primary ingredient to being an actor, but he is very intelligent, and he pushes his intelligence into the role that he's playing.
Tell you, I've a fuck's out more talent than half the rubbish that gets on television.
He's almost what the French call joli laid. He's good looking, but he's got a certain amount of ugliness that you can tap into.
The only programme I'm likely to get on is the fucking news.
The actor that I fixated on when I was a teenager was Donald Sutherland, because he was over 6 foot tall, thin, had a very long face, and grew up in a town in the middle of Canada. And so I identified with that because I thought, well, if you can look as weird as he does and succeed as an actor, then maybe I had a chance.
Look at my tongue. I'm wearing a yellow sock.
And my final assessment by my drama professor in 1979, he said, you're going to be a writer-director. That is where your talent lies. You're too lightweight to succeed, in my opinion, as an actor, and you're too weird-looking. So I thought, well, this is a man in authority. He must be right. And ironically, all the reviews just a few years later for Withnail, in my memory, fixated on what I looked like.
Wasn't much in the tube. Nothing left for you.
Bug-eyed, lantern-jawed, sepulchral, tombstone, slab-faced. It was like a sort of Undertaker's compendium of things. So I thought, well, they've said all those things, but I've played the lead in a movie. So, you know, it has to cancel each other out.
I say, you know what we should do?
There's a line that Richard says in Withnail, and the Marwood character says,
get out of it for a while. Get into the countryside, rejuvenate.
And the line that Richard says back is, rejuvenate, I'm in a park and I'm practically dead. That's the line. He was stressing it, rejuvenate, I'm in a park and I'm practically dead. And there's no laugh on that line. I'm in a park. It's not. The stress is park. I'm in a park and I'm practically dead.
Rejuvenate. I'm in a park and I'm practically dead. What good's the countryside?
How the characters speak is how Bruce speaks. So it's channeling him, really. Literally a channeling job. You sort of go, all right, okay, now I'm in Bruce mode. And I'm with him, we spar and argue, and he goes, you know, all that.